Greetings to everyone on our channel. Today we will discuss the main topics covered in the briefing by the official representative of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Maria Zakharova. As always, the briefing addressed a wide range of international issues affecting both Russia and its foreign policy priorities. Let's dive into these topics in more detail. Sergei Lavrov's visit to Istanbul. The first important topic was the upcoming visit of Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov to Istanbul on October 17 to 18. Lavrov will participate in the third session of the Regional 3+3 platform. This format brings together key countries of the South Caucasus and neighboring regions: Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, Iran, Russia, and Turkey. The main goal of the meeting is to coordinate efforts to ensure peace and stability in this complex region. Special attention will be paid to strengthening cooperation among these countries and seeking solutions to resolve conflict situations. The South Caucasus is a strategically important region, and Russia's role here is significant. BRICS Summit in Kazan. Zakharova then spoke about the upcoming BRICS Summit, which will take place from October 22 to 24 in Kazan. This summit will serve as a platform for discussing current issues of global security and a multipolar world order. The agenda will include topics related to strengthening multilateralism, striving for a just world order that takes into account the interests of all countries, not just Western powers. BRICS leaders will discuss how the international community can cooperate to achieve sustainable development. Given today's geopolitical challenges, such as sanctions and pressure from Western countries, this is particularly important. Additionally, business council meetings and BRICS forums have already taken place in Moscow, where issues such as financial cooperation, international trade, and agribusiness were discussed. These themes will certainly continue in Kazan. World Congress of Compatriots. One of the significant events will be the World Congress of Compatriots, which will be held in Moscow from October 30 to 31. Around 400 leaders and activists from more than 100 countries will gather. The key topics will be the preservation of cultural and historical heritage, support for traditional family values, and the protection of the rights of Russian compatriots abroad. It is important to note that Russia actively works with its compatriots living abroad, supporting them in education, cultural integration, and defending their rights in the countries where they reside. International Conference on Eurasian Security. Another significant event will be the International Conference on Eurasian Security, to be held in Minsk from October 31 to November 1. Lavrov will address issues related to building an architecture of equal and indivisible security on the Eurasian continent. Given the growing threats on the international stage, this issue is becoming increasingly relevant. Moscow believes that security should not be the privilege of one or a few countries, it should be common and indivisible. Situation around Ukraine. Zakharova devoted significant attention to the situation surrounding Ukraine. She commented on the recent statements made by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. According to Zakharova, Zelensky presented a new plan that includes a series of provocative actions, such as attempts to push NATO into a direct conflict with Russia. His plan involves the use of long-range weapons that could be aimed at Russian territory, which is seen as a step toward escalating the conflict. Furthermore, Zelensky proposed strengthening sanctions against Russia and integrating Ukraine's military experience into NATO structures. Zakharova noted that the Kyiv regime is willing to sacrifice not only peace in its own country but also stability in Europe in order to deepen the conflict with Russia. Western interference in the affairs of Ukraine and other countries. Zakharova also touched on the issue of Western countries' interference in the affairs of Ukraine and other states. According to her, Western countries are using Ukraine as a testing ground for their weapons and military equipment, sending outdated equipment that finds new uses in the context of the conflict. This experiment by the West, Zakharova said, is cynical because Ukraine is merely becoming a pawn in a global game. She also highlighted how the West collaborates with terrorist organizations, particularly in Africa, where support for jihadist groups has led to severed relations with countries like Mali and Nigeria. Washington and London, Zakharova stated, use these groups to destabilize regions, threatening the security of not only Africa but the world as a whole. Issues in Moldova and EU interference. Particular attention was given to the situation in Moldova. According to Zakharova, Western countries, including the EU, are actively interfering in the internal affairs of this country by supporting the current regime of Maya Sandu. Moldovan authorities, she said, are using administrative resources to suppress the opposition. The European Parliament has already passed a resolution calling for stronger sanctions against individuals allegedly undermining Moldova's sovereignty. All of this, in Russia's view, leads to a form of neocolonialism, where Western corporations gain the right to purchase the country's land resources under the guise of credit obligations. Finally, Maria Zakharova emphasized the importance of preserving historical truth. She condemned attempts by Kyiv to justify the crimes of the Nazis and their collaborators, such as Bandera and Shevkovich. According to her, recognizing these crimes would destroy the ideology of the Kyiv regime and its Western patrons. At the same time, Warsaw is demanding the exhumation of the victims of the Volyn massacre and is threatening to block Ukraine's EU membership if Kyiv continues to ignore this issue. At the briefing by Maria Zakharova, various questions were raised concerning both Russia's foreign policy and current international events. Here are some of the key issues that were discussed. On North Korea's role in Russia's special military operation. One of the questions concerned Volodymyr Zelensky's claims that North Korean soldiers were allegedly participating in military actions on Russia's side. In response, Zakharova stated that the composition of the participants in the special military operation is within the competence of the Russian Ministry of Defense, and such claims require clarification. On Ukraine's reaction to Jared Leto's appearance, it was discussed that the Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs expressed dissatisfaction with the fact that Jared Leto, the famous actor and musician, planned to hold a concert in Russia and also expressed a desire to visit Kyiv. Zakharova responded by emphasizing that Ukrainian diplomats do not understand that Zelensky's regime has brought the country to a state of survival, and such issues only distract attention from real problems. On the film Moscow, My Love and the Japanese Ballerina, Zakharova was asked about the film Moscow, My Love, which depicts the story of the Japanese ballerina Yuriko, who passed away in Moscow. This question was raised in the context of discussing real historical events and their portrayal in cinema. On the politicization of the Nobel Prize, another question concerned the Nobel Prize, and Zakharova responded that the prize is being used for political purposes. She cited examples of how the Nobel Committee awarded prizes for politically motivated achievements, including awards to human rights defenders from Ukraine and Belarus. On the film Dr. Zhivago and the CIA's Influence, Zakharova was also asked about Boris Pasternak's novel Dr. Zhivago and its promotion in international circles. She explained that the CIA actively facilitated the publication of the novel with the aim of destabilizing Soviet society, organizing its publication and distribution among Soviet citizens abroad. These questions, along with Zakharova's answers, touched on not only current international events but also historical topics, demonstrating the wide range of audience interests and the importance of diverse discussions. Thus, the briefing by the official representative of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs covered a wide range of international issues, from BRICS activities to Western interference in the affairs of Ukraine, Moldova, and other countries. The focus was on global security, historical truth, and the protection of Russia's interests and its citizens. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated on new releases, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, give us a like, and click the bell to make sure you don't miss the latest news and commentary on important events. Leave your questions in the comments. We will try to answer them in the upcoming episodes. See you next time.